You have this legacy of great products. You have a very passionate group of people and enthusiasts, racers, and just people that love driving and love simple sports cars. You have this legacy to live up to, but at the same time, being part of this global team, both here in the US and in Europe and in Japan, being part of this team, we knew that on one hand we had to be true to the lineage, we had to get the concept right and stay true to that, but we also had to do a completely contemporary car. We knew that we couldn't disappoint the traditional enthusiasts, but we also knew that we had to engage a future enthusiast and bring a new customer to this car. So as a result, the car had to have this classic component, but it had to have this very, very modern component. And that's like, okay, that's easy, a little modern, a little classic. But that's not that simple. It's actually quite difficult to do, in that if you change it too much and you do something very radical and the tradition of the car is lost, or the DNA of the car is lost, I think you've really failed at your mission. At the same time, you change it too little, or maybe do something retro, or that literally is something more old-fashioned, I think you're going to fail to fascinate that potential new customer and even threaten potentially the long-term existence of the car. So I like to think, and I hope that you guys agree, that we've found that balance with this car, with this fourth generation. A few of the things that I think are key to this car, first of all, the overall silhouette of the car is absolutely classic roadster. We've been able to pull the cabin farther back, sit the driver down a little bit more, and really keep that classic roadster silhouette. I think even improve upon that. And then if you come around the front of the car, this is where the real attitude adjustment, or bringing the car into a more contemporary sense, really comes across. It's a lot lower, it's a little bit more confident than the prior generation vehicles, but above all else, the car has a lot more road stance. It looks more planted on the road, where the prior generation cars were still in a kind of 60s style proportion, especially with the front of the car. The contemporary component here is where the car really feels planted. As you come down the side of the car, very simple body side. That's where we stay true to the formula, I think, of the original car. Very clean, not really any lines to the car, but if you've seen the car in sunlight like earlier tonight, or maybe on the road someday soon, you'll notice very subtle sculpting to the side of the car, all there to kind of enhance this dynamic proportion and really add a lot of strength and contour to the body. If you come around the rear of the car, very pronounced rear fenders, especially highlighted over the rear wheel. It is rear wheel drive. And then of course, very tapered, unique rear end that I think is actually a departure from all the vehicles. Very a standout, and hopefully a real standout on the road. And then lastly, the interior of the car. You know, throughout the process of working on this car, early on, we would go to a lot of enthusiast events, Cars and Coffee, and MX-5's club meets and stuff. And one of the things we'd consistently get from people is they wanted a more sophisticated interior. Not a complicated interior with a bunch of features, but just nicer materials and nicer trim, and something that just felt higher value. And that's a general trend, obviously, in our business anyways, but that was a big focus and a big push on this car. So, you know, please take a close look at that as well. Lastly, I just wanted to say, you know, it was a global effort. This is not by any means my design. It's a global team that works on it. But I think in that global effort is where the magic happens, bringing the best ideas together on this car. I think this car represents Mazda in the best possible way. You know, the company's core kind of sense is to build cars that are fun to drive, that really have that in their DNA. It's this joy of driving that we talk about a lot internally. And this car is the epitome of that. And I think that it's a car that I really believe this company is the only company that can really do it, you know. Maybe that's a little arrogant, but I truly believe that. It's in the spirit of the company, and everybody lives it to the fullest extent. So in that respect, it's been a true honor to work